how do you usually carry your school bag? How long have you had your current cell phone? And what do you think is the best thing about living in New Zealand? Now, these might all seem like quite random questions, but they're all part of Census at School online survey, which is hosted by the Department of Statistics here at University of Auckland. And to help us get a handle on this, we're going to talk to statistics lecturer Rachel Cunliffe. Welcome, Rachel.
Thank you.
So what is the Census at School online survey?
It's an international project and New Zealand's a big part of that, and basically what happens is kids log on to our website and fill in a short survey. All sorts of different questions about themselves, about their school, home life, things they like, don't like, and then all those data goes to the website and makes a big database. And then two things happen. The teachers get back their data for their class, and they can sort of have a look at things that are going on in their class and compare themselves to their classmates. And then they can compare themselves to the rest of New Zealand and indeed the other countries in the world taking part in Census at School.
Okay. And how did you come up with the questions? Because I know there's some quite interesting ones, like if you were having if you were to have a superpower, what would it be? What would you be gaining out of information like that?
Some of the questions are in common with the other countries, so you can see, do the Kiwi kids think the same about superpowers as kids in the UK or Canada, Australia, even South Africa? Some of the questions come from census, past census, so we can compare with trends like how long people have had their cell phone for, or different things like that, what their favourite website is that changing over time? So we want to ask some questions that are the same and some questions that are new each time.
So is it about gaining that information, or is it about getting the kids interacting in this kind of area of mathematical interest?
It's a bit of both. I mean, the big part is that the kids are being involved in the entire process, from asking a question to collecting in the data to analysing the data that comes back, and then maybe asking some more questions, or I want to find out more about this type of thing. But also at the same time, it's fun data, it's interesting, it's relevant. It's about the kids right now. It's not old data. It's yes, the kids love that aspect of it as well.
So it's a great way of engaging them.
Yeah, for sure.
On information that they're actually interested in, and off the back of that, you're teaching them something as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I noticed that I actually looked at one of the random samples, and a lot of kids chose that they wanted to be invisible as the superpower. Have you found that? Have you looked at any of these trends?
I think there was a big difference between the girls and the boys. I think the girls wanted to be invisible, and I think boys wanted strength. So the girls wanted to sort of spy on their friends or something, and the boys went for the traditional strength. Yeah.
So how have the teachers responded to the to this online survey?
The teachers love it. They love it for a number of reasons. It makes maths and stats fun and engaging and interactive. It also gives them activities straight away that they can use in the classroom without having to do much work or customisation. So if they're interested in teaching a certain concept in the curriculum, they can go onto our website and find, okay, these 3 activities match up, which one would my kids like to do?
I guess an easy way too is a sort of push and play. There's not a lot of paperwork involved. It's all
online.
It's
all done online, so it's nice and easy.
So have you had to educate the teachers as well as the kids about this program? Is it?
Yeah, we provide resources for the teachers and the students in all sorts of different areas. Things about the changes to the curriculum, all our resources line up with that, which teachers love. And also, just the whole process of filling in surveys online helps educate people, because I think in the future things like the census is going to be done online in New Zealand primarily. It has been available in the past online, but I think more and more people are going to be doing things like that online in the future.
And what do you get out of helping a program like this?
Well, for us, it's a community outreach, really, to encourage people that stats is really relevant. It's not for theoretical things. It's really practical. It tells us interesting things about our world, about ourselves, and making comparisons. I think that's really important.
And you draw conclusions from this sort of information?
Yeah, we try not to, because it's not a research project, but of course the results are interesting to people, and you can see, some trends, even though it's not a scientific survey. The whole idea is about collecting the data, asking questions, and looking at it in detail.
Does the media pick up on any of this, the information you get from this?
Yeah, definitely. Some of the results about Bebo has been used in the media quite a bit. Also about kids' lifestyle choices, how much activity they're doing after school, things they're doing for school lunches. Those have all been picked up by the media. Favourite websites.
Yes.
Another really popular one was actually what kids wanted for Christmas. And the media quite liked that for two reasons. One, it did show what the popular toys were. But on the other spectrum, a lot of kids didn't want material things, and that was quite interesting. You know, I want my family to be happy, or I want this for my family, which was nice.
What was the number one selling toy? What did they want?
Oh gosh, at the time I think it was like Bratz dolls for girls, and
Yes.
it was some computer game for boys.
Yeah, that'd be right, wouldn't it?
Changes every year though.
And what was the Bebo Facebook story about? What was that interesting?
At the time, there were a lot of stories in the media about how kids were using Bebo to talk about crimes or things that were often not talked about elsewhere so openly. So the media picked up on the percentage of kids who said that they had a Bebo page in our survey. Now that's sort of switched more to Facebook, even though Facebook has an age limit of 13 plus for using it.
Okay. And have you got involved directly with the kids yourself in this program? Have you gone in at the launch or?
Yeah, we've had a few launches in classrooms, and that's been fun to see the kids all buzzing about it. And we also get feedback from the kids through our website as well. And it's quite fun to see what they're thinking about things. And
So what's the sort of feedback you've been getting?
oh, they just love it. They just say that going and doing a website survey and finding out things about their kids in their classroom and comparing themselves to other people really seems to genuinely interest them.
Well, I guess it's their tool of choice, isn't the computer? They do so much on the computer, so why not come to them with something like that and engage them?
Exactly, yeah. And asking questions that are interesting to them is a big part of that.
So they submit questions as well? Have you?
For the first time this year, we allowed a few questions from students to be submitted, and then the kids voted on which were the favourite questions. And then what we did is we actually submitted those to Statistics New Zealand, who works with us, and they had their survey questionnaire team go over the questions really closely. And so the kids actually found a bit about how to ask a good question, how to make sure it's not ambiguous or confusing to people. So that was also part of that process of how do you ask a good question? And a lot of questions, when you initially phrase them, you think that's a straightforward question, like how many brothers and sisters do you have? And there was a lot of questions about that. Do you include half brothers, half sisters, step siblings, brothers or sisters who have passed away, all sorts of things like that. Wasn't necessarily that straightforward. You think it's an easy question to ask?
Yes. And what about getting sort of silly answers? I mean, kids like to play up. Do they? How do you deal with that? Or is it not a problem? Or is that something you can see as well?
I think there's always going to be a small percentage of kids who are going to be a bit silly. They're going to get on the computer and think, oh, this is a good laugh. I'll put in ridiculously big numbers or tiny numbers or crazy things for my answers. But that's actually okay. That's part of statistics, is handling what we call, cleaning of data. So looking through it and asking yourself, is this real or is this someone being silly? And it's not always straightforward. If someone spends a lot of money every month on something, they could be playing up and making that up, or they could actually be spending a lot of money.
It really could be a $1,000 cell phone bill.
Oh yeah, so it's often a grey area, and you don't want to just go, right, we're going to throw away anything that looks a little bit different, because often the things that are a little bit different is where the really interesting questions can be asked. There could be a small percentage of kids who do spend a lot of money on their cell phones every month, thanks to mum and dad.
Yeah.
Or even their part-time jobs. Kids work a lot of hours these days.
Yeah.
So that's okay. So we give back the data semi-cleaned. So we do remove some things that are inappropriate answers.
Yes.
So we don't have those kind of issues.
Yes.
And also things that are impossible answers. But other than that, we give the data back and they can sort of decide for themselves what they're going to do with that. And that's a real issue for statisticians anyways in their jobs. So it's good to expose at the beginning.
Well, that's right. I mean, unclean data says something itself, doesn't it? What percentage of people do that, and why?
And the nice thing is the vast majority of kids answer this really truthfully and seriously, and they understand the process of actually collecting data is important for our society, and decisions get made on that. So teaching them about that as well is important.
Oh, well, it sounds like a fantastic project, and thanks for talking to us today.
Thank you.